All right, let's go.
John Quiñones is an ABC News correspondent. He has worked on 2020, Nightline, Good Morning America, What Would You Do, and Primetime. He has 40 years' experience at ABC News. As a result of his 2020 report on the Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen, who was brutally murdered, the military made changes in how they handle sexual harassment cases. Congress passed the Vanessa Guillen bill.
Sexual harassment would be criminalized under military law.
In September 1999, he anchored a critically acclaimed ABC News special, Latin Beat. Focusing on the wave of Latin talent sweeping the United States, he received an Alma Award from the National Council of La Raza. John has also won the George Foster Peabody Award. Other awards include Gabriel Award, the Art Trust Wildlife Award, 3 Emmy Awards, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund. John was inducted into the Hall of Fame of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, the lead organization of Michigan Latino Leaders for the Enhancement of Advocacy and Development, caught up with John Quiñones at Delta College in Bay City, Michigan. Rosa Morales from the Latino Banner, Emmy Award-winning journalist who also attended Delta College, did a one-on-one interview.
What is your take on the journalism part of the industry, which you know so well?
Well, I think things have changed for the better a lot, certainly at ABC. We now have an African-American woman who runs the news division. Her name is Kim Godwin. She came over from CBS to ABC 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, and she shook things up at ABC, hiring and promoting lots of persons of color, including Latinos. You know, when I started at ABC 40 years ago, I was one of the few. I mean, Geraldo Rivera had been there, and he's only half, right? He's only half Latino. No, but he was good. He's great. He was doing these great stories, and I wanted to be just like Geraldo. He was young, and he was at 2020. I got to meet him. I got to meet my hero, and but there were very few. I think I was one of the first, right? Now, there's got to be at least 15 Latinos on ABC News alone. We just lost Cecilia Vega, who was our White House correspondent and frequently anchored and hosted Good Morning America. Just a great journalist, print writer from San Francisco, was on Trump's case day in and day out during the Trump years, has done some tremendous reporting. Now she's going to 60 Minutes. So she will be the first Latino person at all.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, you'll see her on the air, Cecilia Vega.
ABC is #1 in the news as it stands right now, with David Muir, your anchor.
Sure.
And from that, a lot of other, the Latinos may go on to other
Gio
gigs.
Benitez is there. He's just doing great stuff. Alex, Perez has been doing the Nashville shooting story. We have Victor Oquendo in Miami. We have so many correspondents.
I see more faces.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
And not only on ABC, but other networks.
But we're doing the best, and I think it's in large part it's because of our new president who made it a commitment. But we're not there yet, and you're right to criticize for us in the media for not having enough of us in power, and that's the point. We got to get now people in positions of power, the senior producers of shows, executive producers of Good Morning America and World News Tonight and 2020, who, in our case, there's a black woman in charge of 2020 now, thank God. But for very few Latinos, we still have work to do there.
We're not in there yet. Local markets, same thing. When you look at it, and I have
the window
looked at
dressing is
Michigan.
nice. Those of us on camera.
So we know we have a long way to go. The young people listening, they still are hankering to get into sports news, anchoring, being a reporter,
weather,
investigative, videographer. How are they going to make it?
I think it looks good. You know why? Because the very face of America is changing. More of America is looking like me and you, and a mix of all these cultures than ever before. And I think that's the problem. Some people don't like that the face of America is changing. You can't avoid it. It's happening. My kids, are biracial. They're Latinos and they're white, You know, their boyfriends and girlfriends are Dominican and Puerto Rican and African American. So that is the new face of America, and the networks will have to respond to that, and the movie makers and the filmmakers are responding to that. I think it is changing. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, and compared to where we were 30 years ago, things are much, much better. My advice to the young people is get an internship, get your foot, if you really want to do what you want to do, you know, take it from me, a kid who had it much tougher, a kid who had no tios or tias or any godfather who could give me a helping hand to get into the business because I didn't know anyone. Now they know someone. They can call John Quiñones and Cecilia Vega and say, I want your help. Tell me, give me some advice. They can email us. They can reach out to me. I just gave my email to a young man from India who wants to get into the business. At least we have that now. We can
mentor.
Yeah.
You guys are available via email and
absolutely.
Google and Zoom and FaceTime. So
that's.
I'm glad you're offering that because you know we need you in that way.
And now I'm in a position at ABC where I can tell them, look, we got to look at this kid, and we have to hire him. I know the president of ABC News. I didn't know all that. I didn't know Rune Arledge when I was hired by ABC in 1982. So now I do. So we do have much more power. Things are looking better. We're not there yet. We still need, again, executive producers, senior producers, movie producers. We need folks in positions of power there because they're calling the shots. They're telling John Quiñones what story to cover. Well, no one really tells me. I now come up with my own stories now. But for the young reporters, they're the ones assigning those young reporters to stories.
Are you going at any time in the future doing any in-depth reporting on Mexico?
I haven't. I've requested an interview with the president.
Yes.
But he doesn't want to do it.
I'm just saying you need to get back into the deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, over
I've
there
been.
in
I've
that
taken a
country.
big deep dive into Uvalde.
Yeah.
I mean, the school shooting, which happened an hour from where I was born and raised in San Antonio, in Uvalde. I was just there 2 days ago, interviewing the chief of police about what went wrong during the response to that awful, awful shooting almost a year ago now on May 24th. So I'm doing those stories, in addition to doing the murder mysteries on 2020, in addition to trying to get What Would You Do back, which was very popular with the young audience. I'm still,
messages.
but yeah, I love going and doing stories in Mexico. I would love to go back.
Good. Here's something John Leguizamo would want your take on. You know, he's doing the Daily Show.
He's brilliant, you know.
And as he said, and this is a quick response kind of thing for you, Fox News headline had him, John Leguizamo involved in TV studio with caravan of immigrants raiding the place. What's your take? No, he was making a joke out of that. The John Leguizamo hosting the Daily Show.
I think he's great. I love him. He's a good friend. And in fact, he wanted to do a What Would You Do scenario in Central Park last week with me. But we didn't get to do it. But he wanted to do one where he's selling hot dogs, but he refuses to sell hot dogs to people wearing a mustache. You know, it's a kind of bias and discrimination that he wanted to shine a light, but no mustaches, because I don't like people with mustaches.
And just throw it up in people's faces.
We didn't get to do it. I wish we had.
Right. Marino Hossa and her radio team wins a Pulitzer Prize winner.
And a Peabody,
for
I think.
a podcast.
Yeah. I love her. And she's my hero. Are you kidding? And we're more like colleagues, although I still think I'm older than she is, but she is doing tremendous stuff with her own little team on her own. She doesn't have to work for a network. She does it on her own. So kudos to Maria.
Eva Longoria eating her way through Mexico on CNN.
You say things aren't changing? Things are changing tremendously with these women, particularly in charge now. She's amazing. And she's not a journalist, right? But she can certainly do the work of one.
She holds an audience.
Yeah.
And she has not been there. She knows what she's talking
smart.
about.
Are you kidding?
You know, I am taken with her talent.
And her own tequila brand.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, here's the last one. ABC's John Quiñones
Who is that guy?
holds Midwest audience in rapture with his stories as a world correspondent who shares a big secret.
I would never buy that one. Maybe there'll be some secrets tonight, you know. I just love coming here because last time when I was a kid, I picked cherries in Michigan. So boy, if someone had told that 13-year-old boy that someday I'd be back speaking at a university with an audience to listen to me, I would be blown away. I wouldn't have believed you, you know. I had hopes and dreams, but I never thought it would get to this point where someday I'd be in the same area after having picked cherries in this state doing this. So it's a great honor.
We would like to thank the Delta faculty for allowing John Quiñones to share his experiences with us.